Hey, this is Cornelius Lindsey, and welcome to the Silent Majority. You know, with growing partisan distaste amongst many voters, there's a silent majority that's growing that doesn't find a home in either of America's two major political parties. People don't know how to identify themselves, and a large number of people are simply not voting. Of all the voters, many people are just unsatisfied with either the candidates or the system. This silent majority is growing, and we have something to say. Welcome to the Silent Majority. Hey everybody, this is Cornelius Lindsey. Welcome to another episode of Silent Majority. Hey, you have entered the fray because I believe you have something to say, and I know I got something to say too. Today I am driving solo. I've always had a guest on here, and I just wanted to have just wanted to really just be able to talk to y'all. Going through some of these main headlines. If you have not been keeping up what's going on, I think number one we can start with is President Trump has not resigned, and I'm going to let you know this right now. If you waiting for President Trump to resign, you're going to be waiting forever. He ain't going to resign. That's just not in his. It's not in his DNA. Even if you're waiting for him to concede, that definitely is not going to happen. Long before President Trump became president, it was a couple of his books that he wrote. I think one was like Taking Names and Kicking Ass, and another one was about the art of the New Deal or the art of the deal, whatever it was. But in those books, you can tell that President Trump has always had an ideology that believes in not being second. Has one that believes in always making sure that he is in the spotlight, that he is seen. He does not apologize. In fact, in my opinion, he is the personification of the 48 laws of power. But nevertheless, if you're waiting for him to resign, that ain't gonna happen. If you're waiting for him to concede, that sure ain't gonna happen. Right now, the reports are saying that President Trump is going to possibly walk right out of the White House with fanfare instead of going to the inauguration of President-elect Joe Biden, that he is going to host his own rally in Florida. Now, there's a lot of noise right now that is on voter fraud. A lot of the things, when you look at it, it looks extremely convincing. I mean, there was a young woman and her daughter that they're talking about that they possibly did something here in the state of Georgia. There were some court cases that were approved in President Trump's favor, like in Michigan, in Nevada, different places like that. Now, he's lost a considerable number of court cases. The goal, I believe, here is to send it all up to the Supreme Court, then ultimately allow for the Supreme Court to make the decision. Because what the Trump campaign is basically saying is that the court here should have the job of being able to choose who the president is going to be. Remember, that also happened when it came to George W. Bush and Al Gore. Because they couldn't get Florida right, it ultimately went up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ultimately ruled in favor of George W. Bush and not Al Gore. Al Gore being, I guess you would say, as statesman as he possibly could, still congratulated George W. Bush on the win, and ultimately that would be the beginning of 8 years of George W. Bush. But nevertheless, right now, President Trump and many people who supported President Trump still believes that he is going to be the president the next 4 years. That has not in any way diminished Joe Biden from beginning to set his cabinet. Right now, he has an all-female press team, starting with his press secretary. I mean, and he just came out. His defense secretary is a black man, or should be a black man. Will be a black man if he's approved. You have an African American woman, you have a black woman who would ultimately be an advisor to the United Nations. I mean, that's a really big deal. I believe that at one point she was an ambassador to Liberia, I believe. But the goal for Joe Biden was to make his cabinet look like his country. Ultimately, I don't know if he's going in the right. I don't know if he's going in the direction that most of many people inside of his party want. When I say many people, I'm talking about those who are probably on more the radical wing. I would say more the progressive. I actually hate that word, but nevertheless, let's use it as punditry. More on the radical side of the progressive side, in saying that these individuals, they want somebody who's going to basically tip the hat in their favor. When you talk about that progressive left wing of the Democratic Party. But right now, Joe Biden, he really has a lot to juggle. There was a clip that played of Joe Biden and Kamala. They were being interviewed. And this is where Joe Biden made the statement that if he ever had a disagreement with Kamala, that he would just simply, say he got sick and then resign, allow Kamala to become president. And everybody was like, hold up. You just told Joe, you told the plan. Joe, you wasn't supposed to tell the plan. I believe everybody out here, we already know. Whether you for Joe or you ain't for Joe, most folks know. We already know that Joe ain't going to be the president for long. If Joe becomes president, Joe ain't going to be the president for long. We're going to be listening to Hail to the Chief when they finally swear Kamala Harris as the president. And you mark my words, if that happens, I guarantee you that we will more than likely, I say over 50%, over 75, probably over 85%, we're going to probably have us a woman vice president as well, because there's no way that you're going to be able to elect two women for the two highest offices in the land, political offices in the land. So therefore, the only way you can do it, if you do it through court decision and you do it through the selection by the House of Representatives, which currently right now is led by the Democrats, then ultimately, guess what you're going to have, bruh? You going to have a president and a vice president that there are both female, and they can get in there and say, well, this is what we did together. This is what we do. This is what women can do when women are put in power. Now reelect us, not based on the fact that we are women, but reelect us based on the fact that we got some stuff done. That would be the argument. That would be the argument that they would ultimately make to all of America once they campaign. Will that argument work? Will that argument stick? I don't know. I think that it is. I'm not sure that you can really, really say that, a woman's electability is based on that of a Hillary Clinton. The reason why is I think that Hillary Clinton was just not a likable candidate. I don't know if many people just did not like her. I don't know if they felt like she was too stern. I do feel like, there was a lot of things that just kind of went into that with Hillary Clinton. When you listen to her, when you talk to her, there have been some speeches that I've heard her give. You can tell she is a very intelligent woman. Some people have personal disdain for her. Some people have personal disdain for the Clintons. Like, I hear it all the time. People like, you better pick up, you better get such and such and such. The Clintons gonna be after him and the Clintons gonna kill him. So, it's just so much surrounding the family. I don't think it's really fair to make the assumption that there's no woman that can be president. I just think that, at the time, Hillary Clinton was just a very unlikable candidate, especially when you put her up against somebody who was like a Barack Obama the first time. And then when you put her up against somebody who was like a Bernie Sanders, I think between Hillary and Bernie, of course you give it to Hillary because it's like Uncle Bernie. It's like crazy Bernie. And although you may really like what he says, sometimes it's just hard to get past the packaging. And I think some people just couldn't get past the packaging. Most people I knew couldn't get past the packaging. They saw the packaging and they were like, I just can't get around the packaging. But nevertheless, we got some stuff going on. Here in the great state of Georgia, we still have 2 Senate seats that are still up for grabs. 2 Senate seats. Now, here's the thing. If you're not up to date on what's going on right now with the Senate races, because in Arizona, because there was a flip, the seat it went from a Republican to a Democrat. That right now the Democrats they need 2 Senate seats right now. They need 2 Senate seats in order to gain control of the Senate. Now, they still would not have a majority in the Senate just alone by themselves. But now, since Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are now going to be in the White House, and Kamala Harris, she now becomes the president pro tem of the Senate, which means that she will have the deciding vote, the same way that the Vice President Pence has used in times past. That means that if there was a essential tie between the Democrats and the Republicans, then Kamala Harris would then make the deciding tie-breaking vote, ultimately awarding it to the Democrats. So right now, Reverend Ralph Warnock and also John Ossoff, because they want people to vote their Ossoff, Reverend Ralph Warnock and John Ossoff, they both need to win. Here's the thing. I don't necessarily see that happening. I do think that if it does happen, if Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue, if both of them lose, then I really think that Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue, if their campaign seeks to blame anybody, then it should more than likely blame President Trump. Here's the reason why. Because if they lose, and what it's saying here is that people have believed that this election and any type of election is flawed, is screwed. We're not going to win. It doesn't matter what you do, no matter what you say, no matter who you vote for, they are going to cheat. And it's a fraudulent election, which means that if it's a fraudulent election, ain't nobody going to believe in it. If nobody believes in the election, then guess what's going to happen? Ain't nobody going to vote. And if people still feel like this is a fraudulent election, I'm not going to vote, then they won't go and vote. And that's not going to be good. If they do not get Republicans, if they don't appeal to independents, if they don't appeal to people to get out there and vote, I think it's going to be a problem. Now, I haven't worked in either, and I don't know Loeffler's campaign strategy. I don't know Perdue's campaign strategy, but I think that instead of running all these doggone ads that vilifies each other, and I mean, the same way with Warnock and Ossoff, instead of running these ads that vilifies each other, that it's time, I think, for them to, even in the Senate race, to look at middle of the roaders, look at those independents, look at the moderates, really begin to appeal to them, appeal to new voters. I think they had until December the 7th to register new voters. Hopefully they took advantage of that to get some new blood in, new people in to go and doggone vote. But just appealing to that old, this person is bad for America. Look at John Ossoff. He's choking a puppy. Like, come on, bro. Like, I'm so tired of it. I'm telling y'all what we need. I'm going to tell y'all what we need. But before I do all of that, wait after this. It's a lot going on in our world today, and it's interfering with people's happiness. People just do not feel centered. They don't feel at peace. There's just a lot going on with depression, with the pandemic, with election fatigue, with all these different things. And it's time for us to finally give an answer. The great thing is I have a wonderful sponsor by the name of BetterHelp. BetterHelp helps us to assess our needs and match us with our own licensed professional therapist. You can connect in a safe and private online environment. It's very convenient. You can start communicating under 24 hours. It's not self-help. This is professional counseling. Ultimately, here's how it works. You can send a message to your counselor at any time. You get a timely and thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions. You can do it all without, ever having to sit in some uncomfortable waiting room. I don't know if you've ever done that. I think I have, was sitting on that couch in the waiting room and me thinking everybody's asking, like, what is wrong with him? It's great. You can do it in the comfort of your own home or in your car, wherever you need to. It's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available. I actually have friends who have used the financial aid and they are still using the counseling service today, and it's absolutely amazing. The service is available for clients worldwide, no matter where you are, no matter where you listen to me right now. I need for you to contact BetterHelp. You can get licensed professional counselors who specialize in depression, stress, anxiety, relationships. We all got issues in relationships, right? Sleeping, trauma, anger, family conflicts, LGBT matters, grief, also self-esteem. Anything you share is confidential, is convenient, professional, affordable, super private. They have all the testimonials available on their site. And the great thing is that you have counselors who are there to assist you and help you. Now, I want you to start living a happier life today. As a listener of Silent Majority, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/SM. Again, join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. Again, that is BetterHelp. HELP, BetterHelp, HELP.com/SM. Y'all, I'm telling you, please, whatever you do, just stop right now. Just pause the podcast right now. Go to BetterHelp, HELP.com/SM. Don't put it off. You've been saying you're going to get the help. Do not put it off. Do it today. Do it for yourself. Do it for the people who love you, who support you, who need you. Do it today. BetterHelp.com/SM. God bless you. So here I'm back, and I'm gonna tell you guys exactly what we need. What we need is we need a very good strategy to set up independent candidates. Now, this has been in my heart, and hopefully this is something that I can do here in the near future. We need a strategy that helps to really set up independent candidates. I don't know if you feel like I do, but I really feel like our country itself has put it a very strange disadvantage, and we're put at a disadvantage because we are ran by a two-party system that ultimately is all about smash and grab. It's all about take what you want, and then it becomes about the bureaucracy. It becomes about the backroom deals, all those things that happens that ultimately elevates the party. And I don't know if our party politicians are more dedicated to their party than they are the people that they've been called to serve. So therefore, when you get inside the Senate, when you get inside the House, then now you have to maneuver around it in order to appeal to certain people, those who have seniority, those who have all these things, and then we have to appeal to them, and then you have to kind of vote in their favor and come on to this vote and do all this. And it's a system that needs to die. And in order for us to kill the system, we need to do a couple things. We need to set up independent candidates, pick candidates who can think for themselves, candidates who can come up with a platform that works, candidates who say, this is what I believe in, this is what I stand on, and I don't care if a certain party